Hello and welcome to another Pauper video. Today we're going to be playing Poison Storm once again. Is it Storm or is it Poison Control Fog? Who knows. It's mostly we're just going to be playing spell-based Infect. I'm still calling it Poison Storm because, that's the kind of feel that I get. But the idea is we are going to cast Prologue to Phyresis or Infectious Inquiry over here. And they say, each opponent gets a poison counter and draw a card, or you draw 2 cards and you lose 2 life. Each opponent gets a poison counter. So we have 8 ways to give our opponent a poison counter. And then from there, that's obviously not enough to win the game, but we have 12 ways over here to proliferate poison counters onto them. We have Contentious Plan, which says proliferate, draw a card. We have Steady Progress, which is proliferate, draw a card. Costs 3 mana though, instead of 2. And then we have Experimental Augury, which says look at the top 3 cards of your library, put one of them in your hand, the rest in the bottom of your library in any order, proliferate. So we really have 20 ways to give our opponent a poison counter. And then we're also playing 1 Mystical Teachings here, which is search your library for an instant or a card with flash, put it in your hand, reveal it, and shuffle. It has flashback. So really you have effectively 22 ways to get the poison cards and give our opponent poison counters. That means it's going to be a little bit easier than you'd think to force through disruption and finish the actual game. Now, some changes from previous lists. I'm still on 22 mana sources here, but instead of playing 4 Lotus Petal, I'm playing 3 Needle and 3 Woodlot so I'm playing more depletion lands than previously, although my math is blowing up right now, and then the rest are just going to be islands, and then 3 Lotus Petals. I found that Lotus Petals are very good in the early game and tend to be poor in the late game. I'm playing 4 Pentad Prism. It's the best possible proliferation spell we have. And then 3 Everflowing Chalice. Everflowing Chalice is very, very good because it provides us a ton of mana, but it also doesn't really do that much. It's sometimes really good and sometimes kind of a mediocre play. So based on that, I'm also playing... Again, I also have 4 Weather the Storms here. Really, really good to buy time in this deck. And then 1 Swirling Sandstorm to clean up the battlefield. And then Mystical Teachings. So I really have, Mystical Teachings does a lot of duty here because it's giving me 2 additional copies of Weather the Storm, or sort of 1 additional copy of Weather the Storm, but you can flash it back. So we can find it again versus red or more often. And then I'm playing 3 Deep Analysis. Deep Analysis combined with Weather the Storm kind of gets over the drawback of it, where you have to pay 2 life for the flashback. But for 1 spell, it says target player draws 2 cards, flashback 2, pay 3 life. So for 1 card, you're getting 4 cards, and that's a hugely good deal. So the final change that I've made is Faithless Looting. So we were talking about here that there's a lot of cards that may be good early or good late, and then, problems. But Faithless Looting is hopefully going to solve that. It is a 1 mana draw 2, discard 2, so the loot, and then it has flashback for 2 and a red. So for 4 total mana, you're going to be drawing 4 cards and discarding 4 cards. We're going to be tending to flood out a ton because we have tons and tons and tons of mana sources. It's really 29 mana sources here. So looting those away is going to be very impactful. Tried things like the Modern Age, Careful Study. I just think that I want as much possible value as I can. And because I have that option, now I can play a lot more of these cards. And I can also go up on lands, so my mulligans are not as bad. And hopefully the combination of all of that is going to work out. I really liked Vivisurgeon's Insight previously over Steady Progress because it's drawing you 3 cards instead of just 1. But Insight is a huge liability, especially against blue decks where they can simply just counter it and then you're dead in the water. These flashback cards are a lot harder to counter, so maybe that'll work out. In the sideboard, I'm trimming on Bring the Ending and Nile Spellbombs here. So Bring the Ending is counter target spell. It's like a mana leak, but it counters the spell if their opponent has 3 or more poison counters. And then Nile Spellbomb, I'm on just 3. Just sacrifice it, exit target player's graveyard. And then I'm cutting the fogs entirely. The thing I wanted the fogs the most for was for Bogles, and I haven't seen Slivers at all, so since we're afraid of Bogle specifically, and we have Weather the Storm here. I'm bringing in 2 Serene Hearts into the sideboard. It's going to open up a sideboard slot here, and we're playing 2 Fiery Cannonades. Fiery Cannonade is good against the small creature decks, and good against Fae, I'm hoping. And then I'm just doing 3 Anoint with Affliction, which is also good against Fae. And once again, I really hate losing constantly to walls, so I'm playing 2 Inside Outs. So now against walls, we have 5 removal spells instead of 4 removal spells. Just 3 counters, but that's okay because this Inside Out draws a card when it targets a creature when it resolves. And Swirling Sandstorm in the main, it does very good job of beating up on walls. So that is the deck. I've been having some mediocre progress with this, but people were talking a lot about what are the options. So I had this idea, might as well run it through a league and then have some fun. If you want to check out the primer or the previous sideboard guide for this, check out the Patreon, patreon.com/CaliGuys. Leave a like and subscribe here on this video and a comment. Let me know maybe what you think you would change instead and how to solve these problems that the deck has. But maybe we'll just run people over and get that first 5-0 for Poison Storm. Who knows? We'll see in the videos. Round 1, we're versus Arcus Nobis. Nobness? We're on the play though. So this is not really that good, but we do have a steady progress. I'm going to lead on Hickory Woodlot in case I draw a Chalice off the top, because then I can play the Chalice on the Woodlot and the Scary on turn 2. But probably we'll end up just turn 3 playing the steady progress and getting our mana back from our lands. Land go. So our opponent is playing a black-white land. That's pretty good for us actually because they're quite slow, so I feel that this is a relatively good matchup. Right, their trigger resolves. They play a land and we pass the turn. They play another land and pass the turn. Okay, we find a Peat Bog, so I will play that, pass the turn again, I think. And then I can just, next turn, go Inquiry, Steady Progress. Really maximize everything. Play an Inspiring Overseer, which is totally fine with me. Pentad Prism. Sweet. Okay, so we'll play the Scary. We're going to go tap, tap, Pentad Prism. And then we'll play the Inquiry. I'm going to leave open a blue mana in case I draw 2 mana for Proliferation. Did not draw 2 mana Proliferate, but I can Lotus Petal here and proliferate off the Steady Progress. So now we are full charge. We do need more proliferation spells. We find an Augury. Okay. I think this is going to be kind of a slaughter, at least in Game 1. Game 2, they're going to be bringing in their Dust to Dust to try to disrupt our Pentad Prisms. Get in for 2. Okay, they play an Obscura Storefront. And I'm F6 over here. I'm not really going to interact. They get a white. Ooh, another Prism. Okay, so we'll play the Prism. We want to try to save our blue sources as much as possible because all of our proliferations use 1 blue pip. Oh, that didn't really change anything, did it? Let's start on the Inquiry, I guess. Draw 2. Do it again. Inquiry, draw 2. Contentious Plan. Get some counters. And some counters on you. So we're going to probably be weathering this turn. Play this. Let's go and look for another Prism, maybe. Experimental Augury. Find a Contentious Plan, so we'll just take that. Might as well finish the game, right? Any order, and then we're going to put some counters back on. I think I'm just going to play this land now. Let's Contentious Plan again. Doing the thing. Found a Deep Analysis. Just still doing stuff. Prologue won't finish the game this turn, but it will next turn. So take that. You. Just proliferating. Lots of clicking over here. And then we will simply weather the storm. Pass the turn. Our opponent dies next turn. We do not. Okay. I mean, this is the kind of deck that this is just going to completely beat up on because they have so many removal spells and all their creatures cost 2 to 3 mana. Whew. Opponent says, wonderful hand. Said, yep, that worked out. Pass the turn. They deadly dispute their Inspiring Overseer, looking for something to do. I have no idea how they're going to do anything, though. They pass the turn. Okay. I'm just going to lead on the Steady Progress. Get my mana sources back. And then I'm going to cast the Prologue so I don't have to do any dice. Doink. GG. Okay, so we did not end up using the Swirling Sandstorm or the Looting. They're a relatively slow deck, so we can probably... I think we can cut the Sandstorm. I don't think it's that good. They don't have Gorilla Shaman. They do have things like Dust to Dust, and they have the Initiative. We saw that their deck is quite slow, so I'm interested in bringing in the Brain the Endings so that I can just counterspell their big stuff and go from there. I think I'll trim one each of these. I think that should be fine. The thing is, we're cutting some of our speed with the pedal. We're cutting the Sandstorm because I don't think it's needed. Cannonade doesn't really hit everything they have. It does hit a lot, but not everything. And Everflowing Chalice, we didn't seem like we needed it. So we'll just submit. Keep these Bring the Endings and then rely on maybe Faithless looting off of the extra pedals and stuff. We have Prologue into Augury. Just 2 islands, but I think that's okay. I wonder if they will lead on Duresses and stuff. They're going to keep 7. We have double Weather the Storm to get our mana back. And they lead on to Scoured Barrens. Go land go. So we would have liked to proliferate, or not proliferate, a depletion land there. We play a Storefront, and let's see if we see a Thraben Inspector. No Thraben. I'm just going to tap out. Prologue. We could do that on their turn. Doesn't matter that much. So we did not draw a depletion, which means that we want to Augury using the Anticipate effect for a depletion land. Try to find one. Find the Scary. So that did work the way that I wanted. Play the Scary. Pass the turn. Next turn we can cast 2 spells with Plan into Augury. Make it in for 2. So we're just trying to develop our mana so that we can have a big turn and weather again. They play Inspiring Overseer and a land. Okay, here's the point where they could have the initiative, which would be a big problem because it adds a clock, a very significant clock. Okay, Augury. I think I'm gonna take the Woodlot. You take Needle. Done. Play the Woodlot. Pass the turn. Saving the Lotus Petal for Storm Count. Here comes the initiative, most likely. So we have 6 mana, 7 mana. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They play Crypt Rats. They're just trying to put creatures onto the battlefield. Oh, interesting. They're not really as deep on initiative as I thought. They're playing Unearth and... Okay, let's see. If I play... I think I'm just going to plan... You... 1, 2... I'm gonna do some blind draws here, I think. Another plan. Plan. So I want to save basically the Auguries as long as possible because they're not a blind draw, they're card selection. Let's see. We did not get a land yet. So if I Augury, I probably won't find a land still. Let's play this. Cast Weather the Storm. Pass the turn. Alright, they're at 6, and we have 4 in our hand. But we can't cast them all. Thraben Inspector comes out. We're just chilling. You attack for 5, go to 21. I guess if I had Auguried, maybe we would have gotten there, but I didn't want to like take any weird risks. I didn't think they could do 12 in that turn, but it was possible, I guess. Something crazy could have happened. Okay, Everflowing Chalice is good. Um, let's go Chalice on 1, play the Augury, Prologue, okay. So the Augury gives us back mana that we paid for the Chalice, but it doesn't do that much still. 2, 3. I think I'm just going to Prologue, draw a card, final looting. Seems like a good time to loot. Faithless looting, discard land, deep analysis, play land, play Weather Storm. Alright, so looting there was able to get us the land, and next turn we have 3 poison spells that we can cast, but we don't have any black mana for the Infectious Inquiry. We've already used 2 Weather the Storms, and we're at 36. Alright, they used the anti-artifact spell that we knew they would probably have, but that means that they're dead. They only need 2 more poison counters. Of course, Skyfisher comes into the battlefield. I mean, this is just a slaughter. Inspiring Overseer. Right. We have the board. Cool. Let's just Pentad Prism. Progress. You. Oops. You. Get some counters. And blast them. Boink. That was what we would call 2 free. Easy cake matchup. And we'll see you in match 2. Round 2 versus value play. Hopefully they are playing value, so we can just steamroll them again. So we're going to keep this. So if we draw another blue source, leading on Scary is good because we can prologue and then turn 3 Contentious Plan. If we don't draw a blue source, we have to Scary into Woodlot and then turn 3 go prologue plus Contentious Plan to get our mana back. Okay, I did not want to see islands. We'll pass the turn. Let's play a Lotus Petal. So I'm playing the Lotus Petal here because if they're on Blue-Black Terror, what I want to do is prologue when they're tapped out, and then steady progress when they're tapped out. They are Terror. So I'm going to just go ahead and slam this prologue, pass the turn. We find a Scary, which is really, really good, and so we can pass. And if they go for a double mental note here, we have steady progress. They do it. Steady progress. You get a counter. We get some counters. Okay. Pass the turn. I'll pass again. I guess maybe they play a terror. So what I was thinking was, do I want to walk into a counterspell? They milled 1 counterspell. Let's see if we can play through it. Pentad Prism. If they have Counterspell in hand, they have to tap out. They don't seem to have it. Cast Contentious Plan. They're going to Counterspell the Contentious Plan. Okay. So I will go ahead and steady progress. Get some counters. And done. Hopefully we draw land. We did draw land. So now I could prologue here. Put you to 4. On a Peat Bog. So next turn I can play Deep Analysis. We're under a fast clock. It's a 4-turn clock. I'm going to try to not burn all of our lands, though, until we get some more proliferation. There are 2 counter spells down, so they only have... They went Brainstorm, Mills, Snuff Out, Snuff Out. They likely have an Angler coming up next turn. Another Pentad Prism. I don't know if I can cast that. Let's go Deep Analysis here. Well, Pentad Prism is just probably the best play because they can't counter. They might have a Spell Pierce, but they can't counter Pentad. We could Spell Pierce this, and I'll pay. It's fine. Find an Augury, which means we can play the island. Go ahead and cast Experimental Augury. I will pay again. 1, 2, leaving 1 counter here. And we grab Weather the Storm. Take that. Go you. Counter, counter, counter. Counter, counter. I'm trying to think if I want to just slam the Weather Storm now for 12 or pass the turn. I think it's probably better to pass the turn. Let's go with the Deep Analysis. They're considering the Spell Pierce again. Alright, we'll pass. It's a sketchy spot again. So we're in a position where we basically really need a faithless looting because our Deep Analysis just costs too much right now. Play the Peat Bog, go Deep Analysis, Weatherstorm. But that's only going to gain us 9. And if they have a second Terror or an Angler, we're in a bad spot. They mill Aquifer, Counterspell, Brainstorm, and they pick up a Counterspell. So they're going to leave the mana open, which means that we have a couple of turns to live. Alright, Deep Analysis. So let's Deep Analysis again. Alright, our Steady Progress is not going to resolve. So we play the land. Or do we play the blue land? Probably play the blue land and weather. They could counterspell a weather. Right now, we have 2 turns again. Basically, we really want to resolve the inquiry, I guess. They cast Deep Analysis. That's good for me. They're not currently leaving open counterspell, and now they are. They get in. We have another Deep Analysis. Black. Cast a Prologue. So Inquiry puts us dead to Unexpected Fangs. Let's play this Bog out. We're going to be able to resolve one of these proliferation spells. Contentious Plan. They're wondering if I just died a mono red. Sometimes. So I needed to play out the Contentious Plan that way so that I could resolve the Steady Progress. The Counterspell, right? We cast Steady Progress. Doot. Get a lot of mana back. And you? So the question is, do I try to Inquiry here? Feel it is a risk. Let's go Deep Analysis. Cast a Prologue. We find a Swirling Sandstorm. Can we get them with that? That would be pretty awesome. Let's pass. Oh man. They get in, they put us to 3. We can no longer cast the Deep Analysis. Here comes an Angler. Anything else? Alright, so basically what we need to do is bait the counterspell with the Sandstorm, and then kill them with Augury into Inquiry. Sandstorm. They have 2 counterspells that they've cast. 3 counterspells. That's the last counterspell. So now you die. Augury. Take another Augury. So we have backups. A Dead Prism. Done. Tap this. Play another Augury. GG. Sweet. Okay, so what do we want to do? We have to try to disrupt them because they have a lot going on. They have quite a bit of interaction as well. They're going to bring in Dispels too. I'm going to bring in the Spell Bombs. They're kind of fast. Not that fast. Obviously we want the Sandstorm. I don't think we need the Teachings. Because we already have... The weather is fine as is. Then maybe we'll just trim one each of these. Pass the turn. Or we'll go ahead and submit like that. Alright, unfortunate no keep. Mulligan. Okay, we have lots of colors. We have Double Prism. I'm going to keep this. And we will put back the Needle, I think. That's the color we care about the least. I would have really liked to have... Alright, so here's the thing. We have a lot of cool stuff in our hand, but we have only 1 card draw spell. So it's kind of like you're just sitting on a 10-land hand. Land go. We have another Contentious Plan, or another Proliferation spell, which is great. Now they are ready for playing an Angler, it looks like. 2, 3, 4. They have to tap out for... They're just going to cast the Angler. Okay. See, that's a lot of investment, isn't it? Or is it not? Let's go Pentat Prism. Likely gets countered. There's the counterspell. So we can cast another Pentad Prism, and then land, and proliferate once. So we get our stuff back. Okay, pass turn. So on my turn, I'm going to Pentad Prism into Progress, into Weather, I think. A Thought Scar themselves, milling Brainstorm Angler. Mental Note, Unexpected Fangs Aquifer. Still can't cast 1 mana Terror. So they're just sitting on spell. Okay, so they could have Counterspell again. We have Infectious Inquiry. Land. Try to cast this Inquiry. That resolves. Okay, so I'm going to pass the turn. Heal until next end step. See if they tap out with some mills. Then I can Steady Progress and give them another counter. Looks like no. They're going to get in for 5. If they tap out, we can proliferate. Plays a land and nothing. Okay. Going to play the Pentad Prism and then attempt to proliferate. Cast Steady Progress. Kind of important that this resolves, and it does, which is kind of lucky. Not gonna lie. Done. Gonna go ahead and Infectious Inquiry, and then Weather, so we don't die to 1 attack. Land. Okay, so they could have something. I'm afraid. I'm gonna weather the storm and pass. I'm gonna be nervous. Nervous Nelly. Your turn. They get a land, so they're kind of flooding, it looks like. Ever-flowing Chalice. Alright, let's play that. Multi-kicker 1. Okay. Resolves. Try casting a Steady Progress. Alright, that resolves. Which means now we have mana. We have all the mana. Oh no, I forgot to put it on. Oh no. Oh, mistakes were made. I misclicked. Okay. Let's go like this. Okay, so if we lose by 1 poison, that's my fault. I did not click my opponent. Land. Prologue. Inquiry. Draw 2. I'll pay for 1 Spell Pierce. Another Inquiry. Yikes. Oh my gosh. Pass the turn. So we can't really afford to cast this Inquiry, and if they have a second Terror, we're hosed. They mill Thought Scour, Aquifer, Mental Note. So what they should have done is not choose anything. Oh, they mill Rotten Reunion. So that gives them enough power to kill us. So now we have to find a Weather the Storm or win. So no matter what happens, we have to just go for it. Okay, we're going to lead on... How many Inquiries have I cast? 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we have 1 left in the deck, which means we just slam it. You go to 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 mana. It's 8. Unfortunate for me, I simply did not click them on my proliferating. They have 2 cards in hand. So they're considering Rotten Reunioning something, maybe? I mean, we're dead no matter what. Oh, we have Weather Storm and Nile Spellbomb. Okay, so that's interesting. Let's play the Nile Spellbomb. I assume this is going to receive an action. I'm going to get rid of the Rotten Reunion at a minimum. Black. Spellbomb you. They Rotten Reunion the Spellbomb. So they're adding to our weather. Let's go ahead and Deep Analysis. Storm is 4. We can play Petal for Storm Count. Okay. And then I think I'm going to DA to 1. See if I can finish the game. Okay. Cast an Augury. This gives me my mana back. We're going to grab this Sandstorm. Okay. Any order? You. And then our lands. And the Chalice. Not their creature. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Land. Sandstorm. Resolves. And we go ahead and play Weather the Storm now. Yeah. Pass the turn. There are 2 cards in hand. That was a really good turn. We so far needed 2 more proliferations. What a beating. That sucks. Says that one goes to the shuffler. That was brutal. Alright, let's go to round 3. Okay, here we go. Boink. Uh, we have no blue sources, so we're gonna mulligan. We have the blue sources. We have the turn 2 Chalice into Proliferate. I'm gonna keep, put back an island, and say done. We're gonna lead on Peat Bog and hope that they don't have Spell Pierce. Please, well, let's not pray to the shuffler, but we'll see what happens. I don't know what Snap is on. Snap? Yikes, that could be a blue deck. Mono blue fairies. Play island. They are mono blue fairies. Wow. Okay. This just looks like a mono blue fairies land. That's what I've seen most of the mono blue fairies players play. Because what happens is if you just take a deck. Yep, I knew it. If you just pick up a deck and import it, it'll just use the most recent set's lands, and people usually just take those. I'm gonna get in. So our best hope was for a big ninja, but they didn't have it. All right, let's just try playing out this Lotus Petal. Pass the turn. This is basically impossible as far as matchups go, so we're gonna get steamrolled, and I'm gonna be happy to move on to the next one. Too much easy early interaction. We have a Moon Circuit Hacker. Okay. Going to play my Steady Progress. Draw a card. Looking for a land. Find another Progress. There's a land. Peat Bog. So if I could get the Chalice into play, I'd be in an okay spot. What's Experimental Augury? This plays around Spell Pierce. Another Chalice. I guess I take the other Chalice. Pass the turn. So just like in match 1, we felt it was an unlosable matchup. That is how our opponent feels right now. Unlosable matchup. Oh my goodness. I'm tempted to just concede and go to round 4. Not waste my time. But that's something that I did with Familiars versus Ponzo. Just be like, okay, never mind. We'll just, we did not win the shuffle or the pairings lottery. Here comes a big ninja. Wow, okay. So I get to draw a bunch of cards. It's waiting on our opponent to resolve their card draw triggers. Play a Fairy Miscreant, so they've tapped out. Okay, so now we can do some stuff actually. Cast a multi-kicker 1. They are giving us an opportunity. Cast a multi-kicker. And then we're going to cast the Pentad Prism. And then we're going to proliferate with Steady Progress. We still haven't accomplished anything, but we have a lot of mana now. And that's kind of important when you're playing against a blue deck, to have a lot of mana. Deep Analysis. Pass the turn. Okay. Opponent will go. We'll take 5 damage. So now we're kind of looking for a Weather the Storm. Alright, they're going to get in. We take 5. 6, 7. They put us to 6. Wonder why they mutagenic there. It's kind of a strange thing to have done. I mean, there's really no point in like pressuring that out, right? And they stacked their triggers incorrectly on accident. Whoops. Maybe they misclicked. Okay, so we have Contentious Plan. They likely have a Spellstutter Sprite. We're going to Deep Analysis. Kind of have to rip a Weather the Storm in order to survive here, because this Contentious Plan will get countered. Okay, so we can try casting... No, that doesn't do anything. Deep Analysis again. Or we can Mystical Teachings here, but then we're really low on blue sources. We're going to be low on blue sources no matter what. I'm going to try to Deep Analysis myself. They could simply counterspell, find an island, Deep Analysis. So the only way we can live through this is if we find Weather Storm off the top, and they don't counter right now. There seems to be... Well, they didn't counter, but we still lost. Alright. What I'm going to do is pay 3 life and kill myself. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to try to play the removal spell plan. Not Serene Heart, though. Okay. Cannonade. Can cut on some Weather the Storms. On Mystical Teachings. Trim on 1 Looting. Trim on 1 Everflowing Chalice. Submit that way. Can we win? At least we get to try out our plan. That's like, that's a bonus. We have an anti-Fae plan. They're Fae. They presented us with an opportunity. Mulligan. Yep, mulligan again. Okay, we're gonna keep it. Put back weather prologue. Lead on the red source so we can faithless looting pitching the deep analysis. Certainly not where I want to be. We mulligan to 5. They kept 7. Plays an island and Fairy Seer. Okay. We don't really need the prologue right now. With the loots, we're going to discard progress, deep analysis, play land, go ahead and progress, or prologue, I mean. At least we started them with a counter. Come on, man. Okay, we finally resolve our prologue to Phyresis. We draw the Fiery Cannonade. So now we could do stuff. We're going to get in for 1. Big Ninja. Okay, so now we have to determine, do I want to just blast my land off? Don't think so. I'm going to pass the turn. What I want to do is they're going to play Fairy Seer. They're going to hold up Spellstutter Sprite. They're going to play Contentious Plan. And then if they respond with Spellstutter Sprite, then we can Fire Cannonade. We'll be down to almost no lands. But, gotta do what you gotta do. They just play an of one mind. Interesting. No respect. So I guess they have the Spell Pierce. Contentious Plan. Okay. That somehow resolves. Attempted Cannonade. What? Okay. Weird. There's a Brine Barrow Intruder. So they just have ninja after ninja after ninja after ninja. It's like, when you get rid of 1, it used to be with fairies that they had 4 Ninja the Deep Hours, and now they have essentially 8 of them. Okay, we resolved the Cannonade, and that was not good enough, it appears. We don't have any blue sources. Well, they didn't have a Ninja in hand, apparently. But we're just going to die, because we are going to try to cast this Contentious Plan, and then it's going to get countered. We don't have any blue sources, and our lands go away. Yep, we're just going to scoop. I'm dead. Just no lands. Yeah, we ran into another problem with the deck where you run out of blue sources. If you just have 1 in play and you can't resolve your proliferates like this, then you are dead in the water. That was what I was concerned about with the Terror matchup, but we actually got there. We were able to get through them, but the Fairies matchup is much worse, and we'll see in round 4. Okay, we're on the play. Versus Fair Magic. Okay, keep. We have a bunch of options now. I think we're going to lead on the Scary and pass the turn. So, trying to sequence this is hard with the tap lands. Oh man, they are playing Fair Magic. Sorry, opponent. Sorry about your Fair Magic. Okay, let's just play land, pass the turn. I play a Spirited Companion. Right? We're going to go Hinted Prism Prologue, playing the Woodlot. So that gives them the poison. Pass the turn. Then the next turn we can play the Needle, play Augury, play Inquiry, the Weather Storm. Plenty of options. This is a nice recovery for me after getting smashed by Mono Blue. Wild. Just playing the Pairings Lottery. Okay, they get in for 1, we go to 19. All their removal spells are stuck in their hand. Blue, cast Contentious Plan. Casting Contentious Plan because I'm trying to save my card selection spell, as I talked about before. Doop. Okay, get some stuff back. Chalice is nice. Let's cast Everflowing Chalice for 1. Now we can proliferate. So we have 3 mana. This is essentially free. 4, 5. Then we'll have to... Alright, let's just cast the Inquiry. Stay on plan. I wanted to be able to cast Augury, Inquiry, Weatherstorm, but I think that's too much mana. So let's cast the Augury now, adding a counter to the Chalice. Grabbing... I guess it's going to be the Prologue. you, and proliferate up my lands. Done. Pass the turn. So they're at 4 already. We have them at effectively 7. We have Weather the Storm. Feel pretty good about it. Okay, they are gonna flicker their Spirit Companion and draw a card. And now they're gonna play Inspiring Overseer, draw a card, go to 23, place a land, and they get in. Okay. So we're now going to try to proliferate like crazy. Contentious plan. We want to play all of our proliferation that we can prior to tapping the chalice because we want to use the chalice for mana. So this was effectively cost net 0 since we got to proliferate here and here. And we'll proliferate again. We don't need to keep the green around because the Weather of the Storm can be cast off of some other stuff, but it's fine. Maybe just try to float it. Steady progress. You. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Done. Let's steady progress again. You go to 7. 1, 2. Do they just die here? They might just die. This would be one of my fastest wins ever. Okay, I think they're just dead. Prologue. And prologue again. And so turn 5. Prologue again. We didn't even have to cast a Weather the Storm. We just win the game. I guess that's what happens when you lead on your prologue and then you just literally just cast 10 spells. No, 11, 12. Okay, I cast 12 spells. That was pretty sweet. Alright. Okay, so again, we're just going to bring the endings and cut our Sandstorm and some of these cards. I could also, instead of cutting the petal, cut a needle, bring the petal back. So we're on the draw, we cut a land. And then on the play, we'll put the needle back and get rid of the petal. We still have to open our lands. Okay, so this would have been a needle, maybe, and still not good enough. Actually, needle would have been good enough. Darn. Wait, mulligan. Man, that was really close. If we had needle there, it would have been a perfect hand. Okay, this is a very good hand. So, it looked like a very good hand for a minute there. I'm gonna keep this, put back the prologue. Like maybe he was trapped here. So, they're playing an Obscura. Play the needle out, pass the turn. We're looking for some proliferates. Otherwise we have to, oh, they're gonna duress me. That's bad. Probably take the Pentad Prism, if I had to guess. They're certainly thinking it through. They take the Inquiry. I guess they're afraid of being poisoned. We're looking to rip any number of proliferate spells, and we find an Experimental Augury. So I'm going to pass the turn again. They play Basilica. So they could have... Alright, well, we're going to play the Peat Bog and the Pentad Prism, and then cast a Chalice, then go ahead and... I guess we don't have to Augury right now. We could cast Bring the Ending on their Dust to Dust. Then we're going to lose our blue source for the next turn, but we have to rely on the Pentad Prism being the blue source. So if they cast Dust to Dust, I'm going to be needing to use my spell. Looks like they're just going to cast an Inspiring Overseer. Much less scary, because now we get to use our instant speed Augury. Grab, I guess, an island? Alright, we're going to proliferate. Done. Untap. Land. I'm trying to think how I want to cast my Deep Analysis here. Because, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to Deep Analysis. And Deep Analysis again. Find a contentious plan. Alright, let's play Infectious Inquiry. Go ahead and play this Lotus Petal out and pass the turn. This gives us the Bring the Ending as a response to the initiative. So they have 5 mana. Are they going to cast it? 3 mana. Uh-oh. Right now, nothing. They get in for 2. What do you have? Bashing. 1, 2, 3. Dust to Dust, A. I guess we can just cast Weather the Storm now, or we can just hold. I think we just keep. We're at 1. Alright, whatever. We've been dusted. So this turn we're going to tap blue island. Okay, pass turn. Island and Peat Bog play Contentious Plan. Then we can pass island, Contentious Plan, U, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we can play hold the Lotus Petal, play the Infectious Inquiry, pass the turn. We can bring the ending their initiative still, and on our turn we can proliferate a bunch and weather the storm. Bring the ending is a hard counter now. They have 6 mana. I mean, we knew they'd be bringing in the Dust to Dusts, but that disrupted us a small amount, but not enough to actually win the game, I think. 3, 4, 5. Here comes the Goliath Paladin, and it will simply get noped. That's a nope. Alright, Desert. We'll play Scary. Land. What should I play first? Play the Steady Progress. You. Some lands. Done. Okay. Tap. Cast Augury. Off the black, I guess. Find another Augury. I'll take that. Or the Steady Progress. Yeah. Any order. You. Done. We have no Deep Analysis left. Going to cast the Augury. I guess the Faithless Looting would be okay here. Let's take the Infectious Inquiry because it's going to draw us cards, and that's kind of nice. Any order, you. Okay, we have our lands filled up with counters. Play Lotus Petal. Cast Weather the Storm. Pass turn. We're at 23. You're at 6. I put you to 7 with this one. And then just looking at slowly close out the game. They're playing Fair Magic. It's not working out. You have another Paladin? They do. Well, okay. Vampire Sovereign? I don't care about that. They could try to ephemerate their Sovereign and stuff. It still doesn't do that much, I think. Let's Peat Bog and then Inquiry. Play Scary. Tend to Deep Analysis. Let's float the green. Okay, we get to play a Pentad Prism. Done. And then we can draw 2. Play Petal. Blue. Contentious Plan again. And we're going to now have Big Weather again. Still looking for a looting. Steady Progress. Let's go for the Weather the Storm. Is that worth it? I think so. Yeah. Pass the turn. Now if they have a Dust to Dust, we can just let it happen. Holding up to bring the ending for the Goliath Paladin still. It's just a lot of value that they could get. I think it's worth having the Prism die if we can stop the Goliath Paladin. 7 mana for their flying thing. Oh no, it's Soul Migration. Okay. I mean, that does make sense. So that means to me that they don't have an Ephemerate. And they're dead. Okay. Progress. And then you get a counter. We're just going to add some counters because we want to. Although it doesn't matter here. And play Prologue. Donk. Got him. So they've scooped instead of letting it resolve. That's fine. Go to round 5. Round 5. We're on the draw. Mulligan. Last time I played against this player, they had some brutally effective things. I'm gonna take a risky keep here. Put back the teachings. We have a Lotus Petal. Okay. So they're on black-white as well. Lead on Peat Bog, go. And then next turn we're just gonna go Chalice, play Scary. Then we'll Steady Progress a couple times. We can Steady Progress, then Steady Progress off the Petal, but I think I want to keep the Petal for the looting. Play a Companion. This has been a very strange league, not gonna lie. We're just walking into all of these black-white players. Pass the turn. Your turn, opponent. There is a scenario where they win. We'd have to really flounder. We have our mana set up, kind of. We're going to steady progress. Get some counters. Land. Steady progress again. Okay, pass the turn. So now, looks like looting is going to be something we want to do. So we're going to loot, and we can get rid of Petal and Peat Bog. So we need to find a way to poison them out. We take 3. Next turn it's 4, and we'll go to 12. It's like even more damage. They're going to pick up a Thraben Inspector, most likely. They pick up the Companion. That makes sense, because it doesn't cost them mana. Okay. Land. Pentad Prism. Done. So do I want to steady progress off the land? So we'll just steady progress now. Get some more mana. There's an Infectious Inquiry. So they get counter. Let's attempt to loot. Discard. Discard. So now we need to hold on to mana. Cast a multi-kicker. We're in a trying position at the moment because we have to get through all of this. We have to find a weather the storm, basically. I think we're going to play out the island and pass the turn. Pass again. So probably simply play the Pentad and then cast the looting from the graveyard. Trying to find a weather the storm. Okay, they have 5 power on the table right now. They're going to hit us to 9, and then they have 5, 6, 7, 8. Pentad Prism. Cast looting. Okay, discard. Discard. I'm keeping the Petal in case I draw into weather. Infectious Inquiry. Sketchy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we have to rip. Whatever. Try to go for it. We found the weather storm. Luxac. Okay. Cast this. Cast steady progress. 1, 2, do. Okay. Don't say I didn't have it. Done. Play green, white, cast Pentad Prism, and then we're going to blow a Prism to cast a Weather the Storm. Keeping the Hickory Woodlot in hand in case I draw into another looting. That was a pretty good turn, but does not give us enough to live very long. We need a lot of card draw. So far we've cast 5, 6, 7, 8 of our card draw spells. We only have 12 left. We have 1 looting and 3 deep analysis. Or no, 2 deep analysis left. No, 3 deep analysis, okay. We have a lot of mana on the table though. We draw a card. Play a Thraben Inspector. So, what are our options? If we find a Teachings, we get Teachings for Augury, and try to Augury for a deep analysis. Let's find a Prologue, so we'll cast it. Draw a card. Find a Weather the Storm. I'm going to pass the turn. And then yield until their end step. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They get in for 10, put us to 13. Cast the initiative. Okay. So we need to chain again. I don't think 6 life here is going to matter. Okay, they cast 2 creatures. Oh no. I realize now that I can't even cast a Weather the Storm and save my stuff. Should have played the Woodlot before. We're pretty dead. Alright. Darn. Concede. I think our keep was kind of medium. Get rid of this. Bring the endings. And play it out. They went very wide, very fast. We had nothing. I don't think Cannonade is going to help here. So we're just going to try to win. I mean, this is our 3rd black-white and the first time we've lost a game against them. It's a pretty good result, but did not like the way that one went. We flooded. Okay, we're on the play. Prologue into Contentious Plan. Keep it. We're going to turn to Prologue. and play the Hickory Woodlot in case they have a duress. They don't. Okay, Thraven Inspector comes down. Land, prologue, begin the poisoning. We can go land contentious plan or land progress contentious plan for this needle. Playing the Lotus Petal here. Pass the turn. This is in case they have a duress. I can steady progress. But I want to have the black source, I think. They're going to bog us. Okay. And probably nothing. Get in. Let's cast Contentious Plan. You. 1, 2, 3. Done. Another plan. Plan again. We're just planning for all of our stuff. Doot, doot, doot. Okay. Done. And we steady progress. You. Okay. Done. Next turn they'll have 3 mana. I think I'm just going to pass. Oh no, 4 mana. Okay. I thought the Basilica was a Guild Gate. Coalition Honor Guard. Okay, they're just trying to add more creatures. So they brought this in because they took out removal. That makes sense. I think I'm going to play the Scary out and pass the turn. I'm holding up my Prologue for their initiative creature. Not Prologue, my Brain the Ending for their initiative creature. This game is a lot more like how I wanted it to go, basically. So we have 7 mana available. Potentially 8. If we want to blow the petal. Okay, you Bajukabogni plays an Inspiring Overseer. I'm going to let that resolve. It's a lot of damage, but it's okay, I think. Take it in for 3. We're going to Prologue. Find an Infectious Inquiry. Let's now Teachings. Grab the Weather the Storm. Okay, untap. Play land. I'm going to pass the turn. Just trying to build up my mana. Yeah, you can ephemerate that. That's okay. This means that's 1 more attacker. That's not going to happen this turn. Alright. I think I'm going to use the Teachings and grab another Augury, probably. Dawnbringer Cleric's going to attempt to get rid of the Teachings. And we'll just cast it. Get a Augury. Doodle-doo. They ephemerate their Overseer. Sure. So we draw more cards. They're at 7 in hand. We take 3. Let's Augury. What's happening? We're going to cast the spells. They're going to ephemerate again. Okay, continuing to ephemerate. I don't know what they're looking for. Let's Augury. We were looking for a Pentad. Yeah, I think that's good. And they scooped it up. Okay, let's close it strong. No changes. We could cut the land, but I want to maintain my mulligan. Alright, if we had a blue source or a non-black source, or non-green source would be okay. But we're on the draw. We have Weather the Storm. All we need is 1 other colored source, and then we're like off to the races. But then, if you think about it, we're like kind of losing on blue. So I'm going to mulligan. Okay, this is a lot better. Keep. Put back the Weather for now, or the Needle. Okay, so we probably want to just put back a mana source. Let's get rid of the Needle. With what we've got, we can Pentad into Pentad. Into Pentad. They just play another land, tap land. Okay, we're going to play a tap land as well and pass the turn. We kind of have to rip some proliferation here. Not having proliferation is a big deal. We'll find an Infectious Inquiry. Let's go Pentad Prism into Pentad Prism. Oh no. We might not want to Pentad, because they could have Dust to Dust. Let's just Inquiry. Find a steady progress. Okay. Pass the turn. Pass again. We can probably afford to blow the Needle. They have an Inspiring Overseer. We do have the poison counters on them. Another Prologue. I'm a little bit nervous about I'm gonna blow this steady progress, or this Pentad to get the steady progress. You 1-1. We have another steady progress. So I think I'm gonna pass. Pass a turn again. Next turn I will go Pentad, Pentad, steady progress into Weather Storm. Okay, they have a Vampire Sovereign. I wasn't even paying attention to how many lands they had, but they have 5 now, so could have would you gotten us with the Goliath Paladin. Okay, Pentad Prism. Pentad Prism. Cast steady progress. You 1, 2, 3, 1, 1. Done. And let's cast the Prologue. Cast Weatherstorm. Pass turn. So that's a pretty big weather. Next turn we can double Deep Analysis into weather, trying to make it so that they are not incentivized to use their Dust to Dust. Everybody else got up. I had to take a little break there. They're gonna Ephemerate? No. 3 mana. They Dust to Dust our stuff. We knew that was gonna happen. Totally fine. We got all the value out of it we needed. We're at 20. They're currently at 26. They're gonna pick up their 3/4 probably. No. 1, 2. Deep Analysis. Analysis again. Find a steady progress. Let's play Scary. So next turn we can go Petal, DA, DA, Progress, Weather, Weather. Maybe? Okay. Let's just pass the turn. Or I could go, yeah, let's just Petal right now. Cast Weather the Storm. Pass. Try to keep as much mana efficiency as possible. They have a Goliath Paladin. Okay. This is a much tighter game. That Paladin is going to put a huge clock on us. And Spirited Companion. Okay. How many weathers have we cast? There's 2. So we have 1 left in the deck after this one. Rainy Ending. Let's cast Progress. You. Land, land, land. Get all my lands. Done. Infectious Inquiry. So I'm glad I kept that up. Cast the Inquiry. Play. They're just going to scoop it up. Well, that worked out for me. So if we go back to the game, we got the 4-1, losing to Mono Blue, which is like an impossible matchup. So I don't feel terrible about that. Here, they're at 6. We're going to go tap, 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 or blow these, play another Inquiry, play Weather Storm, and then the next turn, hopefully, we could just hit 3, and we would have maybe won the game. All right. So let me know if you like this newer, leaner idea. Lots of card draw, lots of proliferation, lots of poison. It's kind of maxing out on everything. It's interesting, and hope you enjoyed. We'll see you in the next video.